growls and the woo-hoos and the,
Those are fun.
It's like an assault on the senses.
The king of pop, everyone.
The king of pop. Would you rather bring that guy back or have somebody materialize randomly while you're pooping?
I'd rather dig the ditch but not have him come back.
I'm just glad. I'm glad Michael Jackson is not alive to see what the world has become today. Because if he was alive,
You'd have to write a terrible song about it.
no, it wouldn't be a terrible song. He just
Are you saying "Heal the World's" a good song?
the word is a good song.
Okay.
It is a good song, but
I don't remember Heal the World. I remember Man in the Mirror.
Man in the Mirror's a good song. Heal the World's trash.
but he would feel like he's already dead if he hadn't done so before. Like he would literally, people would just be assassinating his character, and he just does need to be alive to see that.
Well, I'm glad he's not alive so he can't molest more kids.
Allegedly.
Yeah, wouldn't he have just continued down the path he was on?
No.
It was an eventuality that things were not going to end well for him.
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, because,
Everyone dies, but like, why do you say it wouldn't end
because the
well?
path that he was on, he had been on for a while, and there were no signs of him diverting from the way he lived his life and the way that he...
Living to die.
Living to die. There you go. Yeah, it was an eventuality that was going to happen. If it didn't happen then, it was going to happen at some point, probably before the end of what you would consider his natural life.
But what if? What if?
I do like a good what if. What if Wolverine had killed the Hulk?
But what if he didn't molest those boys and it was one big lie to assassinate his character? You wouldn't feel the slightest bit bad?
I would wonder who benefits from that.
You discredit someone who is legit trying to have a career.
But how do you benefit from discrediting someone else?
Well, no one knows who started it. That's the whole point of starting.
Well, Michael Jackson started it
He started by
putting his finger in little boys.
But even
Allegedly.
But like hanging out with kids. Like he's like, oh, I didn't have childhood, so I want to hang out with kids. It's like, no, if you had a bad childhood, you buy the toys you wanted.
His house was an amusement park.
Yeah, you don't hang out with little boys. That's weird.
Yes, but nothing about his life was normal.
What I'm saying is
Right,
that
but-
I'm saying that when we talk about this, allegedly is doing a lot of heavy lifting in your logic, because there is all kinds of evidence to the contrary that. Yes, okay, you would have to legally say allegedly, but there's a lot of evidence that points to the rap on him was precisely the truth. Paying kids off, or paying families off, or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can hang your hat on allegedly, but boy, that's a thin ledge right there.
I just can't help but think like
He certainly didn't seem to have any kid's best interest in mind. He's hanging his own kid over a balcony, famously, with a blanket over his head.
I just feel like he has given so much of his life to the world, and
Well, people are very complex.
for it to go down in flames like that. And I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying what a way to just ruin everything.
Well, look at it this way.
made.
Let's say he had lived.
If he was live right now.
Yeah, let's say he was alive right now.
Mm-hmm.
His popularity would have clearly diminished. I mean, by the time he died, he was a big deal overseas, but people in the States had moved on. They didn't really care about Michael Jackson. He was a guy, obviously, that could go to other countries, and there were people screaming and crying around him. But in the United States, he wasn't that big of a deal anymore. So his influence would have waned. So even if he'd been around, people would be like, oh, remember when Michael Jackson was a thing? And, I don't know.
I just imagine him spitting around in his house trying to get out of his conservatorship.
Yeah. Hee. Alan Cox Show After Hours line. If you want to drop us a message, you can. It's 216-986-8903.
Hey, Alan. I called a couple weeks ago mentioning all the stuff that Mary's okay with, Will Smith assaulting people, sex defending and the kids throwing the bricks off the overpass.
Here we go.
Well, yesterday, even in the brief show, she got one in with this woman hitting and killing the cyclist. And her initial response was, well, maybe she had to lift her leg up.
This was the woman who killed 2 cyclists, and her defense was she had IBS.
She was
and
pooping all over
she
herself.
Uncontrollable defecation in her car, and that's what caused her to hit these cyclists and then drive off, by the way.
Maybe she had to drive with the steering wheel. Not, this shouldn't have happened. It was immediate defense of this woman who, obviously was drunk. So, I don't know, maybe this could become a weekly segment, tie it into the Everybody Loves Mayor lawyer, occupation. But yeah, I don't know. She loves to defend this stuff, and it could just be called like I'm just saying or I'm just asking questions. But yeah, it could go along, with the sports break, just her own weekly segment. All right, thanks. Bye.
Oh yeah, that Pound Cake Sports Break is today.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Mary?
I'm not defending them. All I'm saying is...
You're a diarrhea defender. Hit and runs.
Diarrhea murder.
I didn't say it was okay. That's the thing that nobody's paying attention to. I never am like, I'm so glad that this happened, or hey, not that big of a deal. It's always like, I could see how they got there.
You're keeping an open mind.
That's it.
She's not going to conform to your one way of looking at things. She's got people to defend.
She's not your average lawyer, but she is very hot. She knows how to cook up on her hot and steamy pot. With her
Electric
horse,
kettle.
you know she likes to ride him everywhere. Look out for this pioneer, everybody loves Mare. Everyone says that she's the greatest lawyer in the West. And every day she likes to dress up in her Sunday best. When there's trouble in the West, you better call her if you dare. Look out for this pioneer, everybody loves Mare. Look out for this pioneer, everybody loves Mare. Yeehaw!
Oh, got me in the front butt.
Forgot about that part.
You forgot about Got Me in the Front Butt.
Until like the song is ending, I'm like, oh, there's another part.
There's another part?
There's an act out live.
I mean, if
How
you
come
want...
you never adopted that as your catchphrase for stand-up?
Because it's not for stand-up. That's my TV show.
Well, I'm just saying,
different.
if you want that TV show to take off so you can sell at the grog shop like Jerry Seinfeld,
Multiple revenue streams.
yeah, you should probably start using that catchphrase when you're on stage.
If you guys want me to do a weekly segment called I'm Just Saying, or whatever we want to name it, where I bring a story to the table that is across the board, everyone votes is a bad thing that happened. And I just ask some questions and just see it from another angle.
Guys, I'm just asking questions, like our own little Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. How come you can do this so easily with someone that murdered someone on a bike, but when it's your boyfriend, you're like,
Go to hell.
Yeah, you need a bunch of therapy to figure out, like, oh, his experience is different.
Because that's a good question.
Because it's easier to contend with strangers than people that you're
Yes.
intimately
Yes.
involved with.
Because
I'm not in love with these people. These stories are about.
you don't win.
Hey, listen, my new catchphrase was thrust upon me.
Hate the show!
Hey, what's up?
That's my new catchphrase. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Got me in the front butt. Hey, what's up? No, listen, let Mary do her thing.
It would be boring if all of us were just like, oh, that's so sad.
My show in Chicago was an ensemble show, and one of the writers was this guy that used to write for Saturday Night Live and Sesame Street. He's since passed away. But he did a segment every day called I'm Just Saying. And it was very obtuse, and I was trying to get rid of it. But I mean, I liked the guy, and he would like write these little monologues, but he also had dyslexia. And so and he wanted to do them live. And so I would have a lot of agita if you were going to do something called I'm Just Saying.
Okay, we don't have to call it that.
Just call it Mary's point of view.
We could say different point of view.
Mary's point of skew.
Ooh, God, there it is. trying to.
Or we don't have to do it. Just, I think it's better when they come up organically.
Naturally.
Because I feel like if you try and force it, because we tried to do something like, someone's like, hey, Bill likes telling people what to do, and then I tried to do a segment where I tell you to do better, and it just, some of the stuff on the show, it's just got to be organic.
Organic is better.
How about
Free range.
Santorable Takes?
Santorable.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. By the way, do we think Darnell's dead?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't heard from him since then, right?
We haven't heard from
That
him in
was
a long
2019.
time. Yep. COVID probably killed him, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, as of yet, if that's the case, as of yet, he has not tried to contact us from the great beyond. Rick has. But so far, not Darnell, who's number 25 on our blacklist.
Early.
Yeah, there's Rick.
Good night.
Yeah, played backwards after he contacted us.
Creepy dude.
Alan, I want you to do a weekly segment that lasts 1 week called Fire Mary. Oh, that's not nice.
Get me out of here.
That's not funny.
A weekly segment.
That's a whole week where I just get fired.
That's so
Every
petty.
day.
All right, we'll only do it once a week, but it lasts 5 days.
Yes, once a week for 5 days, you just play me out with "This girl is on fire," and I'm out. I gotta go.
These listeners are so creative.
Whatever.
Such a dick.
That comes from somewhere in their heart, you know.
It does.
You have to feel passionately.
I was
to come
gonna
up with
say
that.
it's not because they do that to everybody. It's personal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like the guy DM me, I hate your guts, I hope you die. And he's like,
A slow and painful death.
hey,
I get a
sorry.
sticker.
Sorry, no, it's not. Hey, man, sorry. I was having a bad day.
So there's a book that was.
I've had a
I
lot
hate
of
your
bad.
throat. I'm going to say that. I hate your throat.
Yeah, thank you.
I could get to like it.
You get it.
Yeah. Oh, I get
You
it.
get the gay because gay.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because gay.
I didn't follow up with it. You followed up with it.
He was just letting it sit there.
Yeah.
I let
He
it simmer.
was.
Oh,
he
he'll
was-
let it sit there.
Oh, speaking of which, while we're talking to Pound Cake,
And then when I got a big load, I go put it in there.
new episode of the Pound Cake podcast up at alancockshow.com. And in the description, you said there's a new Kim Kardashian sex tape. I haven't heard about this.
With Pete?
No, it's a part 2 of the original one.
Oh, I thought it was like a new one.
Not new.
So she's trying to get people talking about their
her
show on
new-
Hulu.
That's exactly what I talked about. I said she is the queen
Boy,
of
imagine
publicity stunts.
But imagine how smart that is to keep a 15-year-old
20.
sex tape. 20. Wow. To keep a 20-year-old sex tape and not release all of it. You kept part of it in your back pocket. And at the beginning, you were probably like, maybe not that cynical about it. But down the road, you're like, well, I never know. And by the way, the Kim Kardashian sex tape isn't even in the top 5 for
It's not
celebrity
even
sex
good.
tapes. It's boring. She looks like a real dolt in the sack.
She was
but
on
she's
ecstasy.
super hot. Huh?
She was on ecstasy, allegedly.
Well, then she should have been jumping all over the place. I mean, she's laying there like, she was a guest on the Codcast. And she had her old face, and I mean, that's all fine. She's still super foxy, but not a thrilling sex tape. Not a Tommy Pam tier sex tape. But
they were in love.
So, yeah.
So the new Pound Cake podcast is called Another Round of Pound Cake's Hot Takes. Hot Takes, one word.
That's how he spelled it. That's how I
Yeah,
posted it.
that's me. I liked it.
Okay. Any guest on this?
Nope, it's just me, and it's going down the hottest stories. I call hot. But yeah, I just Kim Kardashian is a pimp. Like she literally can run any publicity stunt and make it into billions. Make it into billions because this new Hulu show, there's probably going to be nothing different than what the E show was, but they're on a different network and they got to make it work. And I don't understand it. I didn't want to see part 2 of the sex tape. She brought her son into it. She brought in Saint, saying that she called Kanye West crying, saying that Saint was playing a video game, and an ad popped up for part 2 of the Kim Ray J sex tape, and she called Kanye crying. I said, first of all,
Well, then who's placing ads on Twitch?
I don't know what it was.
I mean, ads don't just pop up. Someone has to create an ad,
That's
a
also
banner ad.
Crazy target marketing, you know?
and that's what I'm saying.
Proximity.
So I'm like, first of all, why is your son playing? Your son is young, like he's like 6, maybe 7. He shouldn't be playing any game that would have a sex tape ad on it, unsupervised. And then 2,
Yeah, what games, like...
you knew that this was inevitable. She probably didn't think this soon, but she knew she was going to have the sex tape conversation. And I don't know if that's in the parenting handbook, but I don't even know where you start with that conversation. Like,
Inside Sources.
listen, before me and your dad got together, I was in love with a guy, and
Are you saying in love?
I mean, that was her boyfriend. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
she was in love with him.
Let's just say he made my nose run.
But what do you say? How do you start that
That was
conversation?
2 noses ago, by the way.
How do you explain having a sex tape out
You
to
go,
your child?
do you see all this stuff we have and all the
you don't
money?
start with that.
You go, it's because of this sex tape.
No, you can't say it like that because then you'd be like, "Is mommy a whore?" And just because you make a sex tape
Is that
doesn't
what
mean
the
you're a
kid's
whore.
going to say?
Is mommy a
mommy
whore?
a whore?
Yeah,
Probably not. No.
because you're saying
it's still
oh,
her mom.
I think you start with, "Listen, sometimes we make mistakes."
I don't even
and-
know if you pitch it as a mistake, because if you're releasing part 2, it's clearly not a mistake. So you go, look,
Is she releasing it? Or
No, she said it was getting released.
by whom?
That's what the show is going to expose. Apparently,
Yeah, this all
that
sounds.
sounds,
it's a
work.
publicity stunt.
Well, yes,
because
but-
it
but-
didn't get leaked the first time.
But you can't. The show has already been shot, at least a couple episodes, so you can't pretend like it's going. You know, if the show is already a couple episodes are already in the can, you don't go, "Oh no, another part of this sex tape's getting released."
Exactly.
What am I going to do?
Well, that's it. They're talking about it on the show, and that's what I'm saying. That's ballsy because she knows. She might as well.
But
just
is that? I mean, I'm just surprised that that's enough to get people to watch the show.
I don't think it is. I don't think this one's going to pop the way they want it to.
Well, I don't think so either because E was convenient because it was network TV. Hulu, people aren't going to subscribe. They're not going to gain subscribers because they have the Kardashians. No one's tuning in to watch the Kardashians.
Well, and also the Kardashians are just like they're so prevalent. If you want them to be, you're not going to learn anything from the show as much as
their
like,
socials.
Yeah, so you get all that stuff from there. So the show isn't as interesting as it once was because you have too much access to them, and also the way reality TV is trending, that stuff is so scripted and made up that you want more train wreck type TV, and they're not train wrecks.
Anymore. I mean, a sex tape back in the day would be considered, oh, that's a train wreck. I can't believe she
Right.
shows her face.
But that's why I like shows like The Ultimatum and Love is Blind are so popular because these are people that are willingly entering a ridiculous situation
Experiment.
and an experiment and then just like having meltdowns, and that's what people like for reality television.
But I am curious how, I doubt she would, because it's very, I don't know, even for the Kardashians, it's kind of an invasion of privacy to talk about something such as a sex tape in front of your child or explain it to your child. But I am curious how that conversation would go down. I want to know.
Well, those aren't kids living a normal life either.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm sure
also-
that they've been
That is
exposed to all.
Kanye.
But it
They've
doesn't
been
matter.
But it does matter.
Your
because
mom-
if your kids, what I'm saying is, if your kids have been exposed to a very different world than some other kids, then your Overton window there is wider than some other people's, right? You're going to be able, pardon the pun, you're going to be able to have a conversation with your kids that no other parent would be even prepared to have because of who your mom and dad are. Imagine how many conversations she's had to have with her kids about Daddy might not be feeling good right now, and Dad's having some problems, and who knows how that's playing out.
Mom, is
just-
Dad running for president again? You know
Right.
what I
Is
he
mean?
gonna
Like,
kill
Just mute
Uncle
them on
Pete?
Instagram. Yeah.
Alan, how about you call the segment "Not the Devil," because I'm not comfortable saying that, and my family will get mad at me. Advocate with Mary Santora. Okay, well, listen, boy, this is how Perez Bilton didn't have this information. It had to come from Pound Cake. I don't
slacking.
know.
Celebrity gossip with Perez built in. Ooh.
It's going and going and going. Wow. What a tale on that one.
Still going.
I've got to take a break. Hey, want to go see Nikki Glazer, Nicole Renee? She's coming back to do a show at the Agora in June, one night with Nikki Glazer.